Good morning, I'm standing in the middle of the very busy interchange with traffic lights, cars and buses all around me here at Elephant and Castle. Over there behind me is the Northern Line station, over there is the Bakerloo Line station. We're also going to discuss what this silver thing is here behind me as we do another end of the line station that is in Zone 1, also bordering with Zone 2 here. It is Elephant and Castle. So there's two tube stations at Elephant and Castle, and the Northern Line was actually built first in 1890 as part of the City and South London Railway. Both lines are deep-level tube, with no escalators down to the platforms, meaning that you have to take either the lifts, or my favourite, the spiral staircase. Happy to report that the sign is correct and there are 111 steps, but it's down the spiral staircase that you must come, and then to this bit here it gets out onto the flat. But you see something incredible from 1890. Yes, before it was the Northern Line, this part of the tube was the City and South London Railway, running between Stockwell and King William Street. It's one of the earliest parts of the Underground, which means that there's little bits of history to see here and there if you just stop and look for them. So I used to give tours, Hidden London, at Euston station, just further up the line, which was also the City and South London Railway, now Northern Line, and there are some tiles there, and I thought that they were the last remaining ones. It took me ages to discover that if you come down the spiral staircase at Elephant and Castle to the Northern Line section, there's just some here, and people are just walking past without realising there are tiles, original tiles, which are 134 years old. And because of it dating back to the 19th century, this part of the station has a distinct feeling to it, and you can sense that yes, you're in an old and early part of the Underground network. Quiet corridors with the occasional influx of passengers suddenly rushing through, not really taking in their surroundings, and just heading for their train. It's even a station which has 4 fletchings on the arrows, but it's not all old, as up above, new is happening, where the old Elephant and Castle shopping centre has been demolished, and new major construction work is taking place. Which is why these robots are back, spinning round every few seconds, firing lasers at nearby reflectors to check for unwarranted movement during construction. So many of my end-of-the-line videos remind me of Tube Challenge moments. One Tube Challenge moment that you have to do is come off the Northern Line here at Elephant and Castle and change onto the Bakerloo. So many times you come down these steps along this corridor under the Northern Line and get to a little T-junction there, which takes you down to the steps to the Bakerloo, and there's a moment of decision. Is it left or is it right to get the next northbound Bakerloo Line train out of Elephant and Castle? At the northern end of the platforms, there's a point where staff can go to the toilet and make a cup of tea. And it's just my favourite place to be. Yeah, so this is the real end of the line part. Northern Line, not the end of the line. Bakerloo is where the end of the line is. If you come up to the northern end, so the top bit, this far end of the Bakerloo Line platforms, it just feels very eerie and very quiet, like nobody ever comes down this end. I mean, the whole of the Bakerloo bit of Elephant and Castle just feels a little bit antiquated and eerie, particularly so at this end. It's my favourite carriage to get into, the front carriage at the Bakerloo. A quick peer into the overrun tunnels whilst I wait for the next train to leave reminds me that I should talk about one of the most asked things about Elephant and Castle. As the train departs there, it leaves behind me the thing that most people like to talk about Elephant and Castle, which is to the south there. How far do the tunnels go? A version of the 1949 tube map shows this, an extension of the Bakerloo Line carrying on underneath the Walworth Road and heading down towards Camberwell. But this never happened, and no, there are no secret tunnels which go this way. Instead, the overrun tunnels which you can see from the platforms are just long enough so that 2 trains can be stabled here overnight instead of the nearby London Road depot, and can be the first trains out in the morning. There has, of course, been a long-term plan to extend the Bakerloo east and south along the Old Kent Road through New Cross Gate down to Lewisham, but this is very much subject to funding, and in the interim, recent plans were announced that a new express bus route would be happening instead, and for it to be part of the Superloop network, so expect that to be called the Bakerloop instead. It'll be a fast bus, calling at just the point that the extension of the tube will hopefully one day call at. There are 117 steps on the staircase here. The one incorrect sign saying 124 has long been replaced. But, oh no, wait, what's this one still doing here? So I counted them again, and it is 117. Yeah, I just counted, and I'm outside where it's, oh, great, raining. 117 steps. Leslie Green Building, excellent. Yes, the 1906 Leslie Green Design Building is as lovely as the rest of the stations built in a similar design. And South London House, now used by TfL, is where the offices to the South London Press used to be. I'm just having a flashback to many years ago. One of my earliest memories of travelling on the Underground must have been around 1981, 2, 3, 4. I was with my dad out for a day in London, and we got the bus to here to Elephant and Castle, and we went in this entrance here, which is now, there's this modern bit obscuring the lovely Leslie Green bit, but the lifts were just inside there, and there was those old style gates which somebody would like slam shut, and they'd concertina together. I remember looking through the gates, peering out into the outside world, seeing the red buses, Routemaster buses in those days, outside as we waited for the lift to descend down to the Bakerloo Line. Just to drop back to our map for a moment, it's worth noting that the Bakerloo Line depot at London Road is at the end of the line here, just a couple of minutes walk away to the north. The entrance is here, on London Road itself, but turn down Lambeth Road and walk down, keep going, all the way along Lambeth Road by this wall, and then, when you get to the junction with the traffic lights, there's a point where you can peer up and look over the wall and just about get a view into the depot down below. Also back on the surface here is the pub, the Elephant and Castle. That's an old coaching inn after which the tube station takes its name. And right in the middle of the junction here is this stainless steel structure that's in between the two entrances to the stations. Now this is the Michael Faraday Memorial, which now contains an electricity substation for the Underground. But look closely and you can find a sign that says in this telltale Johnston font that it's a TfL building, alongside what is clearly some local guerrilla sticker artwork. But we can't finish Elephant and Castle without mentioning, of course, that there is a national rail station here. On the Thameslink line, it's right next to where the shopping centre no longer is because that's currently being turned into a huge brand new development. But when talking of extension to the Bakerloo line and the failed extension line down to Camberwell, well, Thameslink already does that, sort of, as it heads south down to Loughborough Junction. But did you know that there are two disused stations here? Head south down the Walworth Road, and as you pass the site of the disused Walworth Road station, there's not much left to see nowadays. Although if you do a quick zoom in on Google Earth, you can see where the tracks part to allow space for an island platform in the middle. And the same is true further south, where there is a station road in Camberwell, and the old station building is still there. So both of these closed in 1916. Trains still rumbling past. You can see the remnants from the window next time you're down this way. If they did reopen these on Thameslink nowadays, it would of course just slow down the stopping times and overall journey times of the Thameslink. So it's better that they just whiz through. But I like that this old building is here. That is it. That is end of the line, Elephant and Castle, with a little bit of London's Lost Railways tagged on the end here, down towards Loughborough Junction as well. If you've never been to Elephant and Castle, put it on your list of stations to come and investigate. Check out Northern Line and the Bakerloo Line as well, which is where we'll have our closing shot. And that's the end of the line here at Elephant and Castle. Thanks for watching. Press subscribe for more.